Joining us now is Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi of California. And we're so pleased to have retired Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, former National Security Council Director for European Affairs, also a board member at Renew Democracy, the Renewed Democracy Initiative. Speaker Emerita, first to you. I want to talk about Ukraine, of course, but first, get your reaction to the House vote today, pressuring TikTok to divest and ultimately could be banned.
Well, I'm here and honored to be here with Colonel Vindman. It's always an honor to be with our veterans. He brought us all together this morning, House and Senate, members who have served as veterans, strongly urging a vote now, Mr. Speaker. What was interesting then was to see the father of Mr. Harris, whose son, he was a Marine, he is a Marine, his son was a Marine who died volunteering in Ukraine, and Mr. O'Leary, who himself now is volunteering and urging others to do so for democracy in Ukraine. The vote this morning was a vote to protect the national security of our country and the privacy of our citizens. I pointed out at the time that the TikTok in China broadcast into Taiwan that the Uyghurs love what the Chinese are doing. It's genocide. The people in Hong Kong love the crushing of their democracy in Hong Kong. And the Tibetans talked about how they are suppressed on TikTok there and how they are misrepresented on TikTok there. So for these and other reasons, this is about human rights and privacy and democracy. But most importantly, if the Chinese government, as it does with ByteDance and its partnership, controls the algorithm, we are at their mercy. If they control the data, the privacy data of our people, we are at their mercy. So I was very pleased the vote was so conclusive, over 350 votes for this legislation. We hope the Senate will take up a privacy bill. But here, in terms of democracy and fighting autocrats and the rest, I'm honored to be with Colonel Vindman. His leadership with Vote Vets on this subject is something that is making all the difference, and I'm pleased to yield to him.
Indeed, and Colonel Vindman, a great friend of our program, of course, for many years, talked to me about the warning from the national security officials at threat assessment hearings yesterday. The CIA director warning that Ukraine will lose more ground to Russia if that $60 billion in U.S. aid is not approved.
I think that's absolutely true. NSA Sullivan was referring to facts on the ground as they're unfolding. The Russians outgun the Ukrainians. They're shooting 5 or 10 to 1 rounds of artillery. The Russians outman the Ukrainians currently with all the conscripts that they're accumulating for this war. But in spite of that, it's amazing how well the Ukrainians are performing. They've destroyed about a third of the Black Sea Fleet. Their own indigenous drones penetrating and going after military targets, infrastructure targets in Russia, while the Russians are pursuing civilian populations. So the Ukrainians are performing extremely well, but they can't do it without our help. And that's why it's been an honor to work with Speaker Pelosi, her team. I wish that current Speaker Johnson would show a fraction of the courage that she's shown and the leadership she's shown. But we were able to assemble a dozen congressmen, a number of senators, these vets that have fought in Ukraine as well as wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that communicated why they were there. And the whole purpose is to rally support for this Ukraine aid bill. Speaker Johnson has to bring this to a vote. We have a multi-phase plan. We have a billboard rotating around Capitol Hill with Reagan urging the Republicans to vote. We have an in-district campaign that we're looking to launch against Republicans for failing to pass, to vote on this Ukraine aid bill. We will be there. We will continue to press because Vote Vets and the veteran community understands that if we don't defend Ukraine now, that's a direct threat to our troops in the near future. And we will be there to protect our troops.
Speaker Emerita Pelosi, there's bipartisan support. It will easily pass the House and Senate according to all vote counting, and you're the best one. You're the best vote counter I know in either party. But it hasn't gotten to the floor for a vote. Now, there's a discharge petition to force a vote. It's not an easy challenge because it requires 218 signatures. It's being circulated now in the House. Do you think that they can get the 218 signatures, or is there another procedure, recall the previous question? I mean, there are other ways. Is there any way to get this to the floor?
Well, first of all, we want this. There is strong bipartisan support, although there's some who are hesitating, but strong bipartisan support in the House. So that's why we are saying to the Speaker, just let the House work its will in a strongly bipartisan way. Yes, we have these parliamentary approaches that we can take, and I don't want to show too much of a hand on that, but we are in the course of signing the discharge petition now, and hopefully we'll get to the 218, which will bring the vote to the floor, but it takes time, and time is really important. I think it's important to note this, and this I've heard this again and again, especially when I was in Munich, I saw you there, is this. The Russian army is bigger now than it was when they first went into Ukraine. They're buying support in other countries and other parts of Russia to entice people to sign up to fight in this war. Their goal is to have 1.5 million in the Russian army. So they have designs on other countries. The fight in Ukraine is a fight for democracy, not only there, but in the other states surrounding it, and a challenge to all of us. So that's why we're saying to the Speaker, the right thing to do is to honor the wishes of the House, the strong bipartisan support that is there, and give us a vote. And that's the fastest way. We have other techniques, as I say. They take a little more time, and time is a very valuable commodity when you're getting shot at and you don't have the proper equipment to initiate or respond to.
And these congressmen signed up. Sorry, I was just going to say these congressmen signed up to serve. They swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. All they need to do is muster the courage of Ronald Reagan, channel their Ronald Reagan, and protect democracy, nurture democracy, fend off authoritarianism. That's what we're urging them to do.
You know, I mean, the issue is that they've switched because of Donald Trump. That's the big change. And Donald Trump had Viktor Orban from Hungary saying, he was just down in Florida at Mar-a-Lago, and he's saying that Donald Trump will not agree to a single penny for Ukraine. Speaker Emerita, what about Trump's opposition?
Well, it's significant. The Speaker is very close to Donald Trump. We know that. But I hope that he's closer to honoring his oath of office to protect and defend, because as we support the effort in Ukraine, we are supporting and defending our own Constitution, our own democracy. But the thing is that Orban really has destroyed democracy in Hungary. It's a shame. He shouldn't even be in the EU, but it's harder to get them out. When he went in, it was with a different value system. Last 10 years, he's destroyed democracy. But let's not talk about them. Let's be positive. 2 countries, Sweden joined NATO just within the past week. The president had the prime minister in his box at the State of the Union. We're very excited about that. There are many positive things that are going on. Let's not dwell on Trump, except to say we must win this election, because democracy is on democracy and personal freedoms that spring from that are all on the ballot. I'm so pleased that within the last 24 hours, Joe Biden has wrapped up the nomination in the Democratic Party. So onward to victory.
And just to point out that we're not stopping. We're not leaving the Ukraine issue here, because Speaker Emerita and Alexander Vindman were about to do an interview, or an interview we just did with the Polish foreign minister as well. So thank you both so very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.